I'm Thomas, Believe in the Run.
This is Robbe, Believe in the Run.
And Robbie, we're going through the entire Adidas line that we run in.
Yep, but before we do, can you make sure you subscribe to this channel? Thank you very much.
So we're gonna start from like slowest to fastest. So like daily trainerish on up.
So it's like starting from me to Meg.
Yeah.
Am I the slowest? Probably. On our
I
team?
don't know.
Yeah, okay.
Well, it depends what distance.
Oh, true.
Because you'll beat me in shorter distance.
Okay. Wow. Just people are like, why are we watching this?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right.
So before we get started here, we're going to talk about some technologies that run through all the Adidas shoes, Robbie. So one thing is the initiative to get plastic out of the ocean. So
Adidas has a cellular mesh upper that they employ in a lot of their shoes, which is a lightweight, breathable upper. And again, a lot of
pulling the plastic in,
right?
Recycling.
And then moving on to some other things like the midsole materials. What do we have, Thomas?
You got Light Strike and Light Strike Pro.
And what's the difference between those two?
We don't like Light Strike.
Basically.
No, Light Strike is a firmer, more, it kind of feels almost hollow EVA material, where the Light Strike Pro feels more like that P-Bax material that's softer, has more rebound, just a gooier, softer kind of foam.
Kind of like that super foam that you find in a lot of racing shoes.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, it's what you find in, we get to the racing shoes in Adidas, that they're using the Light Strike Pro and less of the Light Strike.
And you'll see some other foams here and there, like the Repetitor foam, which is a newer foam, but nothing super special.
And then we're gonna come down to one of the technologies we'll find in the shoes. It's just some people put plates in shoes. Adidas likes putting in
energy rods.
Yeah. So
you'll find carbon fiber energy rods in some of their high-end shoes, and then you'll also find some like TPU plastic, pretty much.
When you want to get serious about grip, what do we got?
Continental rubber outsole. One of our favorite outsole materials of any shoes.
Grips, it sticks, it gets you the traction you need. It's great for racing.
Can't go wrong.
Yeah.
All right, let's get
let's get into the shoes. So here we go. We're gonna start with the Audi Star.
Audi Star, man. Quite the name. It's like a supernova went off and exploded into a bunch of rubber, so, or midsole.
What you're gonna get here is the only shoe that we're gonna talk about today with the Repetitor foam. So again, like there's Light Strike Pro and there's Light Strike, you have Repetitor and Repetitor Plus.
I still don't know what Repetitor is, but...
It's
Plus.
It's this big mushroom up here.
So what's it feel like?
So it's got a rocker ride. It's gonna be your daily mile. It's a heavy shoe. It's not gonna be something that you're gonna really pick up the pace in. It's one of those long, slow distance shoes. So this is your weekend warrior.
There's a lot of comfort in here, thick tongue, plush upper, all that.
Yeah. Great fit with the cage up front. You got recycled material in all the shoes that we're gonna talk about. So they're real big on that ocean initiative, getting the plastic out of the ocean. They put it right here into your foot.
So this is a $130 shoe, and who's this gonna be good for?
This is good for your recreational runner. I think for anybody who just wants long, slow miles, if you're gonna have like an arsenal of shoes and you like Adidas, this might be your slow day trainer to keep you, from trying to push the pace too much and be fast all the time, to just do those easy miles. This is that shoe. Next up,
Adidas Boston 10.
Adios. I'm sorry. Adizero
Boston 10. There's too many Audis in there.
This shoe is probably one of the most controversial shoes that we ran in this year.
Yeah, I mean, people were super excited about this shoe, and then some people were like, look what you did to my boy. I'm not going to try to do the good fellow. I mean,
what you did to my boy! Anyway, it was weird because it feels nothing like any Boston before. So in Boston name only, I really wanted to love this shoe, Robbie.
Yeah, I mean, this is a super pretty shoe too. I mean, I felt this worked better as like a shoe that you wear, lifestyle shoe, than it did as a running shoe.
Yeah. A lot of people said you need to have a break-in period for this shoe. I put in the miles in it. It never really broke in for me. I always felt that it kind of was a little bit clunky and heavy underfoot.
I wanted to love this shoe. I think this was like one of the most confusing shoes of 2021 for me. There's so much I want to love about it, but then just on the ride, it wasn't happening.
It's one of those relationships where as much as things are going right, things are going wrong. It does have some nice features though. You've got the Light Strike Pro, you got the Light Strike,
Sure.
you've got the Continental rubber, you got the carbon rods. These are carbon, yeah.
Energy rods. These are the carbon ones in this guy.
Yeah, gusseted tongue. Again, stellar looking shoe.
I like the suede accents. I know it adds some weight, but I still like them around the front there.
Yeah, it's funny. I was running this past weekend and somebody came out to the Faster Bastards run and they were wearing the Boston. It was his first time running with us. Pretty big guy, like 6 foot something. I don't know. And when I heard him running, I could hear him. And I looked down at the shoes. I was like, oh, it's the Boston 10. I don't know if it's the Light Strike that makes these shoes sound so loud.
It's a dense material.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd use it for racing or even tempo. This one would be strictly daily miles for me. Robbie.
Adios 6. This is the most reasonable or budget-friendly shoe, at least in this review.
Yeah.
120 bucks.
Yeah, which is a pretty good deal for this shoe. This shoe used to be the Vaporfly was before the Vaporfly.
Yeah, this used to be their, lead racer,
This was the world record maker. This was all that. So Adios was on the racing feet. And this one stays pretty close to the traditional Adios, but it kind of floats now where the Boston used to be.
Okay, and so let's go into that. What makes it that way?
The lower stack that you have in this shoe kind of lends it to be that more traditional racing flat, racing feel, where the Adios used to get really thin under the toe. It's got more stack, so it kind of reminds me more of the Boston before it went to the Boston 10. As a matter of fact, this would have been a great successor. I think people have been real happy with this if they just called this the Boston 10. But yeah, you've got the, again, recycled material up top. You've got the Light Strike Pro under the toes so that you get that nice squish down and the pop off. Light Strike actually works in this shoe as a way to stabilize. So the next shoe we talk about doesn't have it in the back, and you can kind of feel the stability in this versus that. So I understand why there's these two shoes.
And this does have a torsion control system here, little plastic plate, wishbone type thing to give you a little more stability and support.
Yeah, TPU, I think they like to say, so it sounds more important than plastic. Yeah, but that's what it is.
Despite them recycling a ton of plastic, they're putting a huge plate in
there. Don't worry, just keep it out of the ocean. And again, finished off with some Continental rubber. This shoe, I'd say, is for people who want a daily trainer that can go fast. It's a little more lightweight. Comes in at 9 ounces for a size 10.5, which is pretty good.
Pretty good.
And it has that pickup feel that you're looking for in a shoe. I also think if you're someone who doesn't want to lay out $200 for a modern day plated racing shoe, and maybe you're not worried about, breaking down doors in your marathon.
So maybe like a shoe that could do everything in your training cycle?
Yeah, this could be that shoe. I really feel like if you had one shoe that could get you through everything in the Adidas lineup, this is a shoe from daily trainer to race day. Okay. This shoe will get you there.
I guess we say the best for the middle.
Yeah, best for the middle. I think unanimously between us, this is our favorite Adidas shoe right now.
The Takumi Sen 8, for sure. I love this shoe.
It's lightweight.
Like, super lightweight.
We talked about that Light Strike Pro all the way through. There's nothing but Light Strike Pro and some power rods in here, energy rods.
Yep.
And you got the Continental rubber. This shoe just feels great underfoot. I do wonder with it having the Light Strike Pro on the back, it's just not as stable as, say, the Adios.
For sure.
We've both put in some miles on the shoe.
Yeah, decent amount.
And we both really enjoyed it. And I can't see someone not liking this shoe.
Yeah, I mean, you can take this out. It just wants to go fast. Like when you're running in it, you'll just feel yourself picking up the pace, and it feels good, feels cushion. And we were saying, Adidas talks about the shoe as like a 5K to half marathon shoe. This can easily be a marathon shoe.
Yeah, I mean, we look at stack heights, and this isn't that far off from like a Vaporfly. I know that their other shoes have gotten a lot higher in the stack, and they're pushing those limits for that 40 millimeter stack. And this one has a 33 millimeter back, so it's not exactly what we're used to nowadays for racing shoes, but it feels fast and light underfoot, and this foam bounces.
Yeah, 4 years ago, this will be a magical marathon.
Everybody would be talking about this for sure.
Yeah. For 180 bucks, you can get it for $70 cheaper than the high-end racing shoes, but with the exact same midsole that you're finding in the more expensive stuff. I mean, this is, again, the grip on the outsole.
I actually like the ride of this better than the Pro that we'll be talking about here in a second. The stack on the Pro and the way that the rods line up actually pushed my ankle out. Like when I did long runs in the Pro, I felt like my ankles really started to hurt.
Yeah.
Where in this one, when I did long runs, they just felt smooth and great. So if you're having an issue and you want to stick to Adidas, this might be your race day shoe for even the marathon. If we gotten this shoe a few weeks earlier, this might have been a contender for shoe of the year for us on Believe in the Run.
All right, so we just talked about the Takumi Sen 8, which was maybe our favorite shoe of Adidas from last year, and that was a full Light Strike Pro midsole. And here's another shoe with the same setup in the midsole, a little bit different. Have some carbon energy rods in here. What are we talking about, Thomas?
We're talking about the Adizero Pro 2.
Adios Pro 2?
Does it have the Adios? Yeah. Let me try that again. We're talking about the Adizero Adios Pro 2.
And this was an interesting shoe for us because I think we were pretty excited about it. And then how'd it land?
I just mentioned in the previous shoe model that the high stack and the way that the bars worked underneath here, it had my foot kicking out. So as I ran, I felt like I was always working to stay on my big toe and toe off properly. So it didn't reward my stride very well. So I was kind of leaned back towards an old favorite. I like the Pro 1. So you're gonna see there's not the cutout. It still has the energy rods, they're just kind of hidden in the foam. But I think the cutout made the shoe kind of twist a little bit.
I mean, it's a really unstable shoe. Like you need to have some good mechanics, and also like this shoe just has to go fast. Like it has one speed.
Yeah, and I did actually prefer the 1 to it for just about every. I like the fit of the upper. I like the way that the ground contact happens here. You can see they've employed this continental rubber. They put a little more traction on it on the 2. You have a little more groovage. Groovage. Yeah. Groovy. So I actually like the 1 better than the 2. Looks wise, 2 is amazing.
I love the looks of this for sure, which, you know, would have been nice if we had a better experience with it.
Yeah.
And again, this is a $220 shoe. So it is a little bit cheaper than some of the other high-end racers out there.
So this shoe is meant for the marathon. It's legal for the marathon. So the stack height in the back doesn't exceed that. Marathon Pro, what do they even call it, Robbie? What are the rules? It's like
World Athletics.
World Athletics rules. This one gets right up against it. The next one we're going to talk about blows the rules out of the water, and it goes with a 50mm stack. It's all Light Strike Pro.
I mean, you're wearing this to a concert if you need to see over top the crowd.
I don't even know if I'd wear it to a concert. It's so unstable at any speed. Like, unless you're up on your toes running as fast as you can and never letting your heel hit the ground.
I mean, I ran with you in this shoe, and it was a comedy of errors watching you roll your ankles about every 50 yards.
It's the only shoe that I stopped midway. I was planning to do 10 miles that day. I ended up cutting it short to 8.5 because I kept twisting my ankle. When I would land on something, if it wasn't perfectly smooth, like if we were on a sidewalk that was like angled, it was just turning.
We're talking a lot of foam here.
It was dangerous.
Now, but some people I've seen like really like this shoe. So what's the deal with that?
I do think that there's gonna be a market for over the World Athletic cushioning. We're gonna see something come out from New Balance. We're gonna see stuff come from other brands where the idea behind it is we're not all competing against Kipchoge, so we don't all need to follow the rules. So if I can get across the line in more comfort and more bounce and have like a better experience in the shoe, then they're gonna give it to us.
Go for it.
I just think that the way that this one's set up, you can see how narrow the heel is. It just doesn't work with this much stack. The cutout in the center is gonna lead to it being a little bit unstable.
And what's crazy is a lot of the times when we see shoes, like for example, the Audi Star, this sidewall isn't how high the stack is. In fact, this is much lower inside the shoe. But this one, it actually is.
You're sitting right on top of that.
Like that's how high this shoe.
I actually think if you sank down in it a little bit, maybe that would help. But you're right on top of this much foam, and just running in it for me was a struggle.
I mean, you're talking about, you're sitting on that much on top of that much foam. There's no stability. And it's a very, very thin, unstructured upper right here. So you're not getting anything there. So if you have weak ankles, stay the way.
I think you can pick up the pace in the shoe though. Like my initial first mile, I ran like probably 30 seconds faster than my marathon pace, just try it out. And I was feeling like, oh, this is really nice. I was looking forward to that longer run.
Yeah.
But it just didn't translate for me.
Sorry, Primex.
I mean, I think I worked harder to keep a fast pace in these. I went with you and Megan, and I was like struggling just to stay with you guys. And it was because I was spending so much time trying to balance.
So instead of an Optimus Primex, this is a non-Optimus.
Yeah.
Non-optimal.
I mean, if you have strong ankles and you can make this work, I think you'll have a lot of fun in this shoe. So that pretty much wraps up our Adidas walkthrough.
Adidas. Oh, we're sorry.
Adidas.
Yeah,
And
it's been a while since we've been able to finally get the whole family together, so we're glad they're all here. And if you have any questions or comments or maybe other suggestions or criticisms, because I'm sure you do, throw them in the comments.
Otherwise, like this video, subscribe, do all the stuff, watch the drop.
Follow us on Strava and on Instagram, and, all the stuff in the description.
Yeah.
All right. Peace.